The stars of the Xyrian cluster shimmered like scattered diamonds across the blackness of space. Among the many civilizations that traveled the stars, one story traveled faster than the speed of light: the story of the Zephyr predators. Every species spoke of them in hushed voices, as if naming them too loudly would summon them. These creatures were unlike anything ordinary. They were enormous, fast, and terrifyingly smart. Entire fleets had vanished near their hunting grounds, leaving only whispers and floating debris behind. The galaxy feared them, but humanity did not. On the edge of the cluster, the human exploration vessel, Aurora's Reach, glided silently through the void. Its metal hull reflected distant starlight, giving it the appearance of a moving star itself. Admiral Tristan Vale, tall and steady, stood on the bridge, watching the monitors flicker with readings from the nearby asteroid belts. His face was calm, but inside, a spark of excitement burned. Humans had always been curious. Danger did not frighten them. It drew them closer. "Sensors are picking up something," said Helena Mortimer, the ship's lead biologist. She leaned over the console, adjusting a series of glowing charts. "It's moving in patterns. Not random. That's unusual for Zephyr territory." Tristan nodded. "Show me." The screen displayed a group of fast-moving shapes weaving among asteroids, disappearing and reappearing like shadows. Most species would have retreated immediately, but the humans did not. They observed. They studied. "See that?" Helena pointed to the movements. "It's like they're hunting, but they follow rules. They are not mindless predators. They have strategy. They have intelligence." Oliver Kingsley, the ship's xenolinguist, frowned as he studied the patterns. "Every species has a rhythm," he said softly. "If we can understand their rhythm, we can understand them. Maybe they can be reasoned with." Tristan smiled faintly. "Reason with a Zephyr? That's a first. Let's find out." The Aurora's Reach moved slowly, careful not to make sudden movements that could be seen as threats. The Zephyr shapes seemed to notice. They paused, circling each other and observing the intruders in silence. Humans had expected hostility, but the predators did not attack. It was as if they were curious. Helena leaned closer to the monitor. "They are watching us too. I can feel it. They are trying to figure out what we are." Oliver nodded. "It's a form of intelligence. They are learning. And maybe they are deciding if we are worth their attention." Days passed, and the humans tracked the predators carefully. Every encounter was a study. They noted how the Zephyrs hunted, how they moved silently between asteroids, and how they communicated with one another using strange, clicking noises that rippled through the void like pulses of sound. Helena recorded everything, her notebooks filling with sketches and observations. Oliver worked to decode the clicks, looking for patterns, for meaning. One night, while the ship orbited a small, barren moon, Tristan stood on the observation deck, staring at the stars. He thought about all the species in the galaxy who had fled at the mere rumor of Zephyrs. Yet here he was, leading humans into the heart of danger, not with weapons drawn, but with curiosity and intelligence. "Admiral," Oliver said quietly, coming to stand beside him, "I think they are aware we are not like the others. We do not act like prey or like predators. We watch. We learn. They can sense it. That is why they have not attacked." Tristan nodded slowly. "Humans have always done that, Oliver. We have always learned from what scares us. Maybe that is why we survive. Maybe that is why we are different." Suddenly, the sensors beeped loudly, interrupting their conversation. Helena's voice came over the intercom. "Something is approaching the ship. Something big." The crew hurried to their stations. The monitors displayed a massive Zephyr, larger than any they had seen before. Its skin was dark and reflective, like liquid metal. Its eyes glowed faintly, observing, calculating. Yet it did not charge. It moved closer, slowly, almost deliberately. "Keep calm," Tristan said, gripping the edge of the console. "Do not make sudden movements. Let it see us." The Zephyr circled the ship, its huge body twisting and turning with uncanny grace. It stopped, just out of reach, and tilted its head as if studying the humans inside. Tristan felt a strange sensation, a mixture of fear, awe, and something he could not name. Helena whispered, "It's testing us. I can feel it. They always test before they attack." Oliver quickly adjusted his equipment, sending soft tonal pulses into space, hoping to mimic the clicks of the predators. The Zephyr paused, then responded with a series of clicks of its own. A strange rhythm began, a conversation without words, a test of understanding. Hours passed. The humans and the predator maintained their silent exchange, learning from each other. The Zephyr did not attack. The humans did not flee. Slowly, a bond of respect began to form, fragile but undeniable. Tristan looked at Helena and Oliver. This is only the beginning. If we survive this encounter, the galaxy will never understand what we are capable of. They fear Zephyrs, but we might just become their friends. Helena smiled. Friends? That would be a first. Tristan chuckled. Everything about humans is a first, Helena. That's how we survive. That's how we thrive. As the night passed in the endless blackness of space, the humans aboard Aurora's Reach watched the stars, and they watched the predators. Each was learning about the other, quietly, carefully. The galaxy had spoken in fear of the Zephyrs, but humanity spoke in curiosity, courage, and patience. In that patience, a new possibility flickered like a distant star, an idea that even the most feared creature could become an ally. By the time dawn came over the barren moon, the Zephyr moved away, disappearing into the shadows between asteroids. The humans exhaled in relief, yet no one celebrated. Something deeper had happened. A connection had been made. And in that connection lay hope. Hope that humans could walk where others would run, and see what others could not. Tristan stood again at the observation deck, Helena and Oliver at his side. "We have survived the first test," he said quietly. "And something tells me this is only the beginning. The galaxy fears predators. We might just be the ones to change that." Helena nodded, her eyes wide with wonder. "I want to study them more. I want to understand them completely." Oliver smiled. "And maybe, just maybe, we can teach the galaxy that fear is not the only way to face the unknown." Tristan turned back to the stars, feeling a thrill he had never felt before. For the first time, humans were not just exploring space. They were exploring understanding. They were exploring trust. And somewhere in the shadows, the Zephyr predators waited, watching, learning, and perhaps thinking the same thing. For the first time in centuries, humanity had stepped into the heart of danger not as prey, not as conquerors, but as students and observers. And in that choice, the galaxy's story about H. The asteroid field stretched across space like a shattered crown, jagged rocks spinning slowly in the void. Tristan Vale guided the Aurora's Reach carefully, its engines humming softly as the ship maneuvered through the massive stones. The crew knew the dangers. One wrong move, one collision, and the ship could be torn apart. But beyond the immediate danger, another presence lingered, something alive, intelligent, and far more terrifying than drifting rocks. "Sensors are detecting a large life form," Helena Mortimer said, her voice tight with focus. She adjusted the scanner, revealing a massive shape moving gracefully among the asteroids. Its size was unimaginable. Its body glinted with a dark, metallic sheen, and its movements were smooth, almost elegant. This was no ordinary predator. It was an alpha, a leader of the Zephyr packs. Oliver Kingsley leaned over her shoulder, studying the readings. "It's observing us," he said quietly. "It isn't hiding, but it's not attacking. That's unusual." Tristan nodded. "Keep calm. Slow movements. Do not provoke it. Let it make the first move." The Alpha emerged fully from behind a cluster of asteroids. Its head tilted, and Tristan could swear its eyes, two glowing orbs in a body of darkness, looked directly at them. It circled the ship slowly, almost cautiously, testing the humans' reactions. Every motion it made was deliberate, intelligent, and terrifyingly calm. Helena began taking notes. "Look at how it moves. No unnecessary motion. No aggression yet. It's studying, analyzing, maybe even learning. She sketched the creature's outline in her notebook, her hand shaking slightly despite her excitement. Oliver activated the tonal communicator, sending out a soft series of pulses that mirrored the rhythmic clicks the ciphers often used. The alpha paused mid-circle. It tilted its head again, as though listening, considering. Then it clicked back. The sound was deep, resonating through the ship's sensors, a language without words. It responded, Oliver whispered, barely containing his awe. It acknowledged us. The crew's eyes widened. After centuries of fear and stories, they were seeing something no other species had dared, a Zephyr predator not attacking, but communicating. Tristan took a deep breath. Let's proceed slowly. No sudden moves. Small gestures only. Helena began signaling to the Alpha with her arms, moving slowly, mirroring the creature's body language. Oliver adjusted the tonal pulses, imitating the patterns of the clicks. Each small gesture, each careful movement, seemed to lower the Alpha's tension. It circled closer, then paused, watching the humans carefully. Time passed slowly, measured not by minutes or hours, but by moments of understanding. The Alpha crept nearer, then stopped at a safe distance. Tristan could feel the energy in the room. Fear mixed with fascination, tension mixed with excitement. It's learning us, Helena whispered. It's trying to figure out what we are, what we mean. This is remarkable. Oliver nodded. Most species would attack immediately, but it sees something different in humans. It senses curiosity, patience, and respect. Maybe that is why it hesitates. The Alpha's body shifted, clicking in a series of patterns that Oliver recorded and attempted to repeat. Slowly, they developed a primitive rhythm of communication. The creature's clicks became less sharp, more curious. Its eyes, glowing faintly, tracked every movement the humans made. Helena held up a small light on the end of a stick, moving it gently in front of her. The Alpha's head tilted, then reached a claw-like appendage toward it, stopping just short. It was testing, learning, exploring, not attacking. Tristan felt a thrill of pride and awe. We are not feared. We are not prey. We are something else. Something they want to understand. Hours passed like this. The humans mirrored the Alpha's movements, repeated the tonal pulses, and showed no aggression. Gradually, the creature's body language softened. Its clicks became slower, almost deliberate, and it maintained a careful distance instead of circling rapidly. Helena whispered to Tristan, "Do you think it understands that we are not a threat?" "I think it does," Tristan replied quietly. "And I think it is deciding whether we are worth its time, worth its trust." The Alpha made a sudden movement, but it was not aggressive. It tapped one of the asteroids lightly with a claw, sending a small rock tumbling. Helena gasped softly. "It's trying to communicate with the environment, maybe to show us something."
"Look."
Tristan leaned forward.
"Yes."
"It's demonstrating, showing us that it can manipulate objects. Intelligence. Strategy. This is beyond instinct. This is planning." The crew spent the entire cycle observing, learning, and responding. They spoke softly, used subtle hand movements, and maintained calm. Each small action built trust. Fear was absent, replaced by cautious curiosity. The humans were discovering something important. Fear was not universal. Understanding was the key. At one point, the Alpha stopped and sat on a flat asteroid, its massive body folding carefully. It clicked softly in a pattern that Oliver immediately recognized. "It's acknowledging us," he said, voice barely above a whisper. "Not as prey, not as a threat, as equals in some way. This is the first time it has ever done this with another species." Helena smiled, almost laughing from relief and excitement. "We might be the first to do it. The first to earn respect instead of fear." Tristan placed a hand on her shoulder. "And that is what humans do best. We observe.
We learn.
We adapt. We survive in ways no one expects. This is proof." As the cycle drew to a close, the Alpha slowly rose and circled the ship one final time. Then, without warning, It disappeared into the shadows between the asteroids, leaving the humans in silence. The crew exhaled, their hearts still racing from the encounter. "We survived," Helena said softly. "And we made a connection. Something no one else has." Tristan looked out at the dark field of spinning rocks, imagining the Alpha watching them from somewhere unseen. "It's not just survival anymore. We've begun something new. The galaxy fears the Zyphers. We might become their friends." Oliver adjusted the tonal communicator, sending a final, soft pulse into the void. Somewhere, he imagined, the Alpha might be listening. Somewhere it might have understood that humans were different. For the first time, the crew of the Aurora's Reach realized that fear was not the only response to danger. Curiosity, patience, and understanding could be just as powerful. The galaxy had taught other species to flee. Humanity had chosen to learn. And in that learning, a seed of trust had been planted. A seed that could grow into something no one in the galaxy had ever expected. The Alpha had vanished into the shadows, but its presence lingered. The humans knew it was out there, watching, thinking, perhaps waiting. And for the first time, they felt a thrill unlike any other, a thrill born not from conquest, but from connection. Helena turned to Tristan. "Do you think it will come back?" "I think it will," Tristan said, his eyes fixed on the distant shapes of the asteroids. "And when it does, we will be ready. Not with weapons, but with understanding." The crew worked in silence for the rest of the cycle, each person reflecting on what had happened. The galaxy had feared the Zyphers. Humanity had faced them, not with violence, but with patience. And for the first time, humans and predators had begun a silent conversation, a conversation that could change the rules of the universe forever. The Aurora's Reach floated through the asteroid field, calm and steady. Stars shimmered overhead, and the void seemed less empty, more alive. Somewhere, hidden among the rocks, the Alpha watched, curious and calculating. And somewhere, deep in the hearts of the humans, a sense of wonder grew. For the first time, humans were not just explorers of space. They were explorers of trust. And in that exploration lay the beginning of a story the galaxy had never seen before. The asteroid storm came, without warning. One moment the Aurora's Reach was gliding smoothly through the canyon-like craters. The next, massive rocks were spinning violently around them, colliding with each other and rattling the ship. Warning alarms blared as Tristan Vale gripped the edge of the control panel, his eyes scanning rapidly flashing monitors. "Brace for impact," Tristan shouted. The ship's engines struggled to keep pace with the twisting, spinning mass of debris. Helena Mortimer clutched a strap, her eyes wide but sharp with focus. Oliver Kingsley shouted instructions, his voice barely audible over the roar of the storm. The humans had navigated asteroid fields before, but nothing like this. The rocks were enormous, moving unpredictably, forming dangerous patterns that seemed almost alive. Every moment felt like a test. And then, from the corner of the sensor display, Tristan saw movement, large shapes approaching from the shadows between the rocks. Life forms. Multiple signatures, big ones. Helena exclaimed. "Zyphers." Tristan swallowed hard. Hundreds of alien species had warned humanity about the Zypher predators, but this was the first time he had seen a full pack approach so close. The crew members tensed, expecting a deadly attack. But nothing happened. The Zyphers did not charge. They moved with precision, weaving among the spinning rocks as if they were part of the storm itself. Tristan's heart raced as he watched the massive creatures form a pattern around the Aurora's Reach. It was impossible. Yet somehow, they were protecting the ship, deflecting debris with astonishing strength. Huge claws hit asteroids at just the right angle, sending them spinning harmlessly away, shielding the humans in a moving wall of muscle and instinct. Helena whispered, her voice trembling. "They're helping us?" Oliver nodded slowly. "It seems so. They are not attacking. They are creating protection. It's coordination, intelligence, strategy. They're acting together, and they understand us." Tristan felt a mix of awe and disbelief. Humans had always survived dangerous situations through ingenuity, quick thinking, and courage. But the Zyphers, creatures feared by all other species, were showing a kind of reasoning that no one had expected. "Keep calm. Don't panic," Tristan said, his voice firm. "Observe. Learn. Respond carefully. Let's see what they do next." The storm roared around them, a chaotic symphony of crashing rocks, metallic groans, and the howling wind of space turbulence. Yet the pack of Zyphers moved as if guided by a single mind. They blocked each spinning rock, nudged debris off course, and even adjusted their positions to account for the ship's movements. Helena's notebook quickly filled with sketches and notes, her hand shaking from excitement. "They are testing us," she whispered. Tristan glanced at her, curiosity and wonder mirrored in his eyes. "They are testing us, and maybe they want friendship," Helena said again, her voice barely audible over the storm. The humans watched in amazement. Every move the Zyphers made seemed calculated. This was not instinctive hunting behavior. This was strategy, cooperation, and decision-making. They were not mindless predators. They were capable of understanding the humans' intent. Oliver adjusted the tonal communicator, sending soft pulses into the storm. The Alpha, leading the pack, paused and clicked in response, a long, deliberate sound that resonated through the ship's sensors. The other Zyphers echoed it, creating a symphony of sound that almost felt like a language. Tristan's hands moved over the controls with precise movements, keeping the ship steady. "They understand us," he said quietly. "They are protecting, not attacking. They are choosing to ally in a sense." Helena watched the massive forms of the predators moving around the ship. "This is incredible," she said. "No species has ever done this before. They are forming a bond with us. They see us as something more than prey, something more than a threat." The storm continued to rage for hours. Debris slammed into the protective formations of the Zyphers, sending shockwaves through space, but the predators held their positions, adjusting constantly. The humans realized that they were in the middle of a test not of survival alone, but of trust, patience, and understanding. At one point, a large rock, spinning faster than the others, came hurtling toward the ship. The Alpha leaped with extraordinary speed, slamming the asteroid aside with a claw before it could reach the hull. Tristan and his crew exhaled in relief, their hearts racing. "They saved us," Oliver said, disbelief in his voice. "They aren't killing us. They are defending us." Helena's eyes were wide with awe. "It's incredible. They understand cooperation. They understand protection. And they're choosing to do it with us." Tristan looked out the viewport at the pack, their dark bodies moving through the debris like shadows of the storm itself. "This changes everything," he said softly. "The galaxy fears the Zyphers. They are feared for their hunting, but they are capable of trust, loyalty, and friendship." The storm began to slow, the worst of the debris drifting past. The Zyphers gradually relaxed their formations, circling the ship slowly before fading into the shadows of the asteroid field. The humans remained still for a moment, absorbing the significance of what had just happened. Helena finally broke the silence. "We survived, but more than that, we earned respect. They tested us and we passed." Oliver nodded.
Yes.
"We didn't fight. We didn't threaten. We observed. We understood. That is how we survived. That is how we built trust." Tristan stood silently, watching the last of the predators disappear into the darkness. "The galaxy thinks these creatures are monsters," he said slowly. "But we know better now. They are intelligent. They are capable of understanding. And they might just become allies if we continue to respect them." Helena smiled. "We've seen the impossible today. They protected us. We never imagined this. Other species would never survive a storm like this without losing lives. We made a connection." Tristan turned to his crew, pride in his eyes. "This is only the beginning. The storm tested us, yes. But the Zyphers tested us too. And we've learned something valuable. Fear is not the only way to respond to danger. Respect and patience can be stronger than weapons." Oliver added, "And if we continue like this, maybe the galaxy will learn something too. That not all predators are enemies. Some can be partners if we approach them correctly. The crew of the Aurora's Reach took a moment to recover, still shaken but energized by the experience. They had faced the storm and the Sci-Fi pack together, not with violence, but with understanding. They had survived because they had remained calm, observed carefully, and built trust. Helena closed her notebook, her hand trembling from both relief and excitement. We need to document this. Every movement, every click, every gesture. This is history in the making. Tristan nodded. And we will. The galaxy fears predators. Humanity chooses to learn from them instead. That is the difference. As the Aurora's Reach left the asteroid canyon, the crew watched the stars shimmer beyond the debris. Somewhere in the shadows, the Sci-Fis still lingered, watching, waiting, and perhaps thinking of them. The humans knew they had begun a journey unlike any other. They had survived fire, debris, and the test of a predator's intelligence. And in that survival, they had forged a new kind of bond, one based not on fear, but on trust, respect, and the possibility of friendship. For the first time, humans and Sci-Fis were not enemies. They were participants in the same dangerous universe, learning from each other, testing each other, and perhaps, slowly, becoming allies. Tristan stood on the observation deck, Helena and Oliver beside him. We've passed the test, he said quietly. And when the next challenge comes, we will face it together. Not as humans alone, but as friends of the Sci-Fis. And in the endless blackness of space, the galaxy held its breath, unaware that a new story was beginning, one of trust, courage, and the forging of a bond that could change the universe forever. Weeks passed since the storm in the asteroid canyon. The Aurora's Reach drifted quietly through the outer sectors of the Xyrian cluster. The crew worked tirelessly, documenting every encounter with the Sci-Fis, studying their movements, their clicks, their behavior. Humanity had always thrived on curiosity, but this experience was beyond anything they had imagined. Oliver Kingsley spent hours analyzing the tonal patterns of the Sci-Fis. The creatures communicated in clicks and pulses, and at first it had seemed random. But now, patterns were emerging. Some tones signaled warning. Others expressed curiosity. Some, surprisingly, suggested agreement. Oliver excitedly shared his findings with Tristan and Helena. Look at this, he said, pointing to the display. These pulses repeat in certain sequences. I think they are forming a basic language. It's primitive, yes, but it shows intention. They understand concepts like danger, follow, and even cooperate. Helena leaned over his shoulder. Incredible. We might actually be able to communicate with them. Not just survive them, but work with them. Tristan's mind raced. Humanity had faced countless threats, and yet they had always turned danger into advantage. Now, with the Sci-Fis showing intelligence and adaptability, the possibilities were endless. He considered the scattered reports from nearby systems, pirates raiding ships, threatening colonies, causing chaos. There's a problem we can solve together, Tristan said firmly. A rogue space pirate has been attacking both human and Sci-Fi territories. Alone, neither of us could handle it. But together, we might stand a chance. Helena's eyes widened. You mean an actual operation? With humans and Sci-Fis working side by side? Yes, Tristan replied. We've learned their patterns, their behavior, and they've started to learn ours. I think we can coordinate a joint ambush. It will require trust, timing, and absolute precision. Oliver nodded slowly. It's risky, but feasible. If we can synchronize tonal signals with our own commands, they could understand our intentions in real time. The crew spent the next few days preparing. They practiced coordinating movements with the Sci-Fis, using tonal pulses, hand gestures, and simple signals. The Alpha and its pack became familiar with the humans' routines, responding quickly to commands and adjusting strategies instinctively. When the day of the operation arrived, the humans and Sci-Fis moved silently through a dense asteroid belt where the pirate had been spotted. The Aurora's Reach hovered just outside the danger zone, its sensors tracking the pirate ship's approach. Meanwhile, the Sci-Fi pack positioned themselves among the asteroids, their dark forms blending seamlessly with the rocks. Tristan checked the readings. Remember, precision. Timing. Don't fire until we coordinate. Trust them, and they will trust you. Helena glanced at the Alpha, which stared back with its glowing eyes, calm and focused. I can't believe this is happening, she whispered. We're actually working with them. Oliver tapped the console. They understand. They are waiting for our signal. When we act together. The rogue pirate ship entered the asteroid belt, its sensors scanning for threats. It had no idea what was waiting. Tristan gave the signal, a short burst of tonal pulses followed by a hand gesture. In response, the Xiphers leaped into action. They moved with terrifying speed and precision, cutting off the pirates' escape routes. The humans followed their plan. The ship maneuvered through the asteroids, matching the Predator's movements, blocking the pirate ship's path, and coordinating attacks with calculated strikes. Each pulse, each signal, each movement was perfectly synchronized. The pirate crew panicked as they realized they were surrounded. From every angle, massive Xipher bodies emerged, slamming into asteroids to redirect debris and cut off escape routes. The humans struck with precision, disabling engines, firing targeted disruptors, and forcing the pirate into submission. It was a dance of intelligence and instinct, strategy and raw power. Humanity's planning combined with the Xiphers' physical skill created a force the galaxy had never seen. Within minutes, the pirate ship was incapacitated, surrendering to the unlikely alliance. Tristan exhaled, relief and pride washing over him. We did it. Together. Helena smiled, her notebook full of sketches and notes. We didn't just win. We proved something. That intelligence and trust can be stronger than fear and violence. Oliver studied the tonal response from the Alpha. They recognize us as allies now. They understand cooperation. And they're capable of forming bonds, not just with humans, but with concepts like loyalty and teamwork. The pirate crew was taken into custody, shocked and confused by what they had witnessed. Across the nearby systems, news spread quickly. Reports of humans allied with the deadliest predators in the galaxy reached distant stations, spreading awe, disbelief, and curiosity. Tristan gathered his team on the observation deck. The galaxy fears the Xiphers. But we've shown that fear is not the only way. Respect, patience, and cooperation can change everything. Helena leaned against the railing. They protected us, fought with us, and understood us. I never imagined this. Most species would have been destroyed by fear or miscommunication. We did something extraordinary. Oliver added quietly. This is a new way of thinking. The universe expects humans to survive by force. But we survive by understanding, learning, and adapting. This alliance proves it. The Alpha and its pack lingered near the edge of the asteroid belt, watching the humans' movements with steady eyes. Though terrifying in appearance, their actions now spoke of trust, strategy, and respect. Humans had shown patience, and the Xiphers had responded in kind. Tristan looked out at the stars, thinking about the implications. If we can continue like this, if we maintain this bond, the galaxy will never see us the same way. We are no longer just humans. We are partners, allies, friends of creatures everyone else fears. Helena's voice was soft, filled with wonder. And think of what we can achieve together. Technology, exploration, protection, the possibilities are endless. This is more than survival. This is progress. Oliver tapped a sequence into his console. And we are learning their language faster than anyone imagined. Soon, we may communicate fully. We might understand them completely, and they us. The Aurora's reach floated silently among the asteroids, a calm presence amid the aftermath of battle. The Xiphers returned to their positions in the shadows, observing, patient and alert, ready to respond to future threats. Tristan turned to his crew. The galaxy is watching, whether it knows it or not. Humans have allied with predators. The impossible has become possible. And this is only the beginning. Helena nodded, her eyes bright. We've crossed a boundary today. Not just a boundary in space, but a boundary in understanding. The universe will never see humans the same way again. Oliver smiled faintly. They feared us. They feared the Zyphers. But together we've shown that cooperation can overcome fear. The galaxy may not understand it yet, but history will. As the Aurora's Reach prepared to leave the asteroid belt, the humans reflected on the strange, powerful bond they had formed. Fear had been replaced with trust, instinct had been tempered with strategy, and enemies had become allies. Somewhere among the stars, the galaxy was beginning to take notice of humanity's unique ability to turn even the deadliest predators into partners. The Alpha gave one last series of clicks, a sound Oliver interpreted as acknowledgement. They had passed the ultimate test of trust, coordination, and understanding. Humans and Zyphers had proven that together, they could overcome threats no species could handle alone. And somewhere deep in the void, the galaxy began to whisper. Humans had allied with the deadliest creatures known. Tristan, Helena, and Oliver watched the stars in silence, a sense of wonder and accomplishment filling them. For the first time, humans were not alone in the galaxy. They had partners, allies, and perhaps, most importantly, friends in the most unexpected of places. And the universe, vast and full of danger, had just witnessed the start of a new era, one in which cooperation, trust, and understanding could change everything. The galaxy had changed, though most of its inhabitants did not yet realize it. Where once the mere mention of Zypher predators had caused panic and fear, now whispers spoke of an extraordinary alliance, humans and predators working together in ways no one had imagined. Captain Tristan Vale stood on the observation deck of the Aurora's Reach, his hands resting lightly on the railing. He watched the stars glide by, but his attention was on the movements in space below. Zypher packs escorted human vessels through dangerous sectors, their enormous forms cutting through asteroid fields and shadowed nebulae with precision and power. Their glowing eyes scanned the darkness, alert to threats, while humans aboard the ships navigated safely, exchanging signals with the predators in a language both simple and profound. Helena Mortimer stood beside him, holding a datapad filled with records of the missions they had undertaken. "I still can't believe it," she whispered, her eyes shining. "They protect us, and we protect them. It's like we've become part of each other's worlds." Oliver Kingsley nodded, studying the tonal patterns being exchanged between humans and Zyphers. "It's more than protection," he said. "It's trust, communication, understanding. We've created a network that no one else could have imagined. The galaxy may have feared the Zyphers, but they couldn't have imagined humans could turn fear into friendship." Tristan smiled faintly. "That's always been the way of humanity. Where others see danger, we see possibility. Where others see monsters, we see opportunity. And now the galaxy will see it too." Weeks passed, and the alliance grew stronger. Human ships shared knowledge of technology with the Zyphers. Engineers worked with the predators to understand patterns in their movements and the ways their bodies responded to the environment. Scientists exchanged ideas about biology and medicine, studying how the Zyphers healed quickly and resisted harsh conditions. In turn, the humans taught the Zyphers about shields, sensors, and even rudimentary star maps. Helena had spent countless hours observing the predators up close. She noted the careful way they moved through ship corridors, the subtle clicks they used to signal changes in speed or direction, and the way they seemed to anticipate dangers before they arrived. Each day, she marveled at their intelligence, their adaptability, and their growing willingness to cooperate. Tristan oversaw missions through sectors that had previously been considered impossible to traverse. Asteroid storms, pirate attacks, and rogue fleets were no longer insurmountable. Zyphers led the way, clearing paths with astonishing skill, while humans coordinated tactics, planned strategies, and ensured safety. Every successful mission reinforced the bond between species, and word of their successes spread quickly. Oliver often worked late into the cycles, refining the communication system between humans and Zyphers. He found patterns in clicks, gestures, and tonal shifts that allowed more precise understanding. Soon, they could signal basic commands, share warnings, and even convey emotions like caution, curiosity, or reassurance. The predators, once feared for their savagery, now demonstrated patience and even humor in subtle movements and playful interactions with the humans. One day, during a particularly complex mission to escort a convoy through a dense nebula, Tristan watched as the Alpha led the way, splitting its pack into formations that both protected and guided the humans. The nebula was thick with energy currents that could disable engines, yet the Predators moved effortlessly, sensing shifts in the magnetic fields and alerting the humans in real time. Helena whispered, "They're incredible. We're seeing the galaxy in a way no one else could. Fear has turned into cooperation, and it's beautiful." Oliver smiled faintly. "It's more than that. It's history. The galaxy may take centuries to understand what we've done here, but one day, everyone will realize the value of this alliance." As the mission concluded, the humans and Xiphers returned to a friendly star system, their ships moving in synchronized patterns. The patrols of humans and Predators together became a common sight, an example of what could happen when intelligence and patience met courage and curiosity. Reports from other civilizations began to arrive, filled with awe and disbelief. Species that had fled from the Xiphers for centuries now cautiously observed the alliance. Some were skeptical, thinking the humans were using the Predators as weapons, but those who watched carefully saw the truth. The Predators acted of their own will, choosing to protect the humans, and the humans acted with respect and intelligence, never forcing the Predators' participation. Tristan, Helena, and Oliver often discussed the significance of these changes in quiet moments aboard the Aurora's Reach. "We didn't just survive," Tristan said one evening, gazing at the stars. "We changed the way the galaxy will think about fear, trust, and cooperation." Helena nodded. "And we've done it without violence, without domination. We showed them another way. The Xiphers trusted us, and we honored that trust. That is why this alliance works." Oliver added, "The galaxy sees monsters and fears them. Humans see potential, and we find a way to connect. That is why we are different, Tristan. That is why we survive, and why we can thrive in ways no other species can imagine." The Alpha appeared on the observation deck sensors, circling the ship calmly, almost as if listening. Tristan smiled. "They are part of this now, fully. Not slaves, not tools. Partners. Friends. And the galaxy will learn to respect them as such." The alliance expanded. Human engineers began designing ships and equipment specifically to accommodate the Xiphers' size and abilities. Predators could travel alongside humans without restraint, and humans could traverse dangerous regions with far greater safety. Joint missions became educational experiences, where humans learned from Xipher instincts and the Predators learned from human innovation. Helena had begun teaching other scientists how to understand Xipher communication. Small teams worked in laboratories and aboard ships, translating tonal patterns, movements, and clicks into actionable knowledge. What had started as a fragile trust had grown into a sophisticated system of interaction that allowed both species to share resources, defend each other, and explore regions of space previously considered too dangerous. Tristan often stood quietly, watching the harmony unfold. He thought about how different the galaxy could be if more species followed humanity's approach, to see opportunity where others saw danger, to see potential where others saw threat. The Xiphers were only the beginning. One calm cycle, as the convoy passed near a shimmering nebula, the Alpha sent a long sequence of tonal pulses toward the humans. Oliver listened carefully, translating in real time. "It's a greeting, a sign of acknowledgement and respect. They see us as equals." Tristan smiled. "And that is the essence of this alliance. We don't dominate. We don't conquer. We connect, we understand, and we trust. That is what the galaxy has never seen before." Helena placed a hand on the railing, gazing at the Predators moving beside human ships. "It feels like hope. The galaxy can learn from this. Fear doesn't have to rule. Understanding can." Oliver nodded. "And the story will spread. Other species may resist at first, but they will see the results. Humans have taken fear and turned it into cooperation. That is our legacy." The Aurora's Reach sailed smoothly through the nebula, flanked by its unexpected allies. Stars sparkled around them, But the most remarkable sight was the harmony below, the humans and Xiphers moving together, alert, precise, and confident. For Tristan, Helena, and Oliver, it was proof that humanity's way of thinking, curious, patient, and courageous, was stronger than fear. The galaxy once trembled at the name of the Xiphers. Now, it marveled at what humans could achieve. The message was clear, and it spread quietly but powerfully. Where others saw terror, humans saw opportunity. Where others fled in fear, humans stood firm, learned, and connected. And in that simple truth, the galaxy began to understand a new power, a new alliance, and a new future. The stars stretched endlessly before them, full of danger, mystery, and possibility. And for the first time, humans did not face the unknown alone. They had allies, fearsome, intelligent, and loyal. Together, humans and Xiphers moved forward, explorers and friends, guardians of each other, and proof that even the deadliest predators could become partners with patience, courage, and understanding. The galaxy would never forget the day humans befriended the Xiphers. And in that story, the universe learned something it had never known. Humans could turn fear into friendship, danger into opportunity, and monsters into allies.